Alright, this is a 8-year-old brood mare. Again, looking at this mare, of course, again, we typically start with the ribs. Her ribs are starting to get a little bit difficult to feel. You can still identify the track between the ribs, but there's definitely fat cover covering the ribs and starting to fill in between the ribs. In her withers, we're starting to lay fat down alongside the withers. The back is pretty well covered. Again, get back up here to loin. This mare is very flat across her loin. She doesn't have the strong muscling that some horses do. So she's not going to show a real crease down her back. But again, trying to feel the individual vertebrae is difficult. And you really have to push hard to be able to identify where one starts and the other one stops. Again, fair amount of fat there. Coming back to your hindquarters, again, we've got fat covering the hip. Again, the hip bone, again, you have to push pretty hard to be able to feel the hip bone. You can't identify it, but it is a little difficult to feel of it. In her tail head, she's actually starting to sink in a little bit, starting to get a crease right here around her tail head. You can see the fat is sort of getting a little bit jiggly, indicating she's carrying a considerable amount of fat there. Before we leave the hind end, again, the mare's starting to fill in a little bit here in her flank. Still a definite crease, but there is some fat being stored here in her flank area. Coming to the front, again, we've got a nice fat cover over her crest of her neck. And you can see starting to develop just a little bit of a ridge here. Again, point of her shoulder is rounded, smooth. Again, it's difficult to feel the bony structure in the point of her shoulder. And we're seeing some fat deposition behind her shoulder in this area. This mare, we're going to score about a body condition score of 7. And this is about the score that we would like to have our mares coming into the breeding season in, so that they've got carrying a little bit extra energy with them so that they're going to be reproductively efficient.